So much of our lives are lived out of reactivity. Something happens, we rebound into a response. It's a reflex. And especially in my addiction, I felt like I was a marionette doll and I was not the one pulling the strings. It's like something would happen and I would just be thrown into this behavior, or something else would happen and I would be tossed into this other behavior. So I was kind of at the whims of life. And yoga calls these behaviors samskaras, and they're unconscious habits. They're unconscious patterns. It's something that we do, and we've done it so many times that we don't even have to think about doing it. We're just doing it again. I very much relate with that. It's this idea of like, how did I get here again? Like, I don't want to be doing this, but here I am doing it. You know, it's that sensation, and that looks like many different things. So what we're really trying to do in our recovery is to create some space in order to have a choice rather than just live out these unconscious patterns. And this isn't just in addiction. This is a human thing, that an unexamined life, unexamined behavior, we very naturally run these algorithms, these patterns. Viktor Frankl's famous quote that you likely have heard, but between stimulus and response, there is a space. And in that space is our power to choose our response. And in that response lies our growth and our freedom. So in a nutshell is that there's not a lot of spaces in life, but in between what happens and what we do about what happens, there is a little space. And it's in that little space that we have an opportunity to do something different. And what we're trying to do in recovery is to not do the thing that we've always done, to not run down that deep groove of samskara, and to do the harder thing. And the beautiful thing about this is that the harder thing, if you do it enough times, it eventually becomes the easier thing. So if the harder thing is not to pick up a drink, or the harder thing is to call somebody when you want to, or to not lash out, this doesn't have to be in addiction. This is just in human behavior. What is the harder thing? It's when the harder thing is the right thing to do. That's what we want to shift. And eventually it becomes the easier thing. So we slowly input a pattern of what's more sustainable and what's more supportive. So in our practice today, we're going to do some interesting movements. We'll do some different things because I want to throw you off balance a little bit so that you're not doing the thing that you always do. Maybe we can input a different sort of pattern. And everything that we do on the mat is like it's a little laboratory for how we practice off the mat. So these things might seem a little bit silly at times, but we're slowly inputting new algorithms. So stay with me here, and let's explore. So let's go ahead and just get right into downward facing dog. And I want you to take it wider and shorter than you normally would. So this probably immediately feels a little bit weird. You can bend the knees, press away, press into the earth, and wag the tail. And take some big, deep breaths. So big inhale. And sigh out the mouth, stick the tongue out. Lion's breath. Twice more like this while you're wagging your tail. Once more. Left hand finds right ankle or calf. Gaze underneath the right armpit and pull yourself through. You can bend the knees as much as you want. And then slowly switch sides. And release. Walk the feet up and outside of the hands. The feet are on a little diagonal, and bring the hips down, Malasana squat, getting right into it, and kind of wiggle side to side. And steady breath. See if you kind of iron out your breath. So first you kind of notice where you're holding and see if you can smooth it out, iron it out. Press elbows into the knees, knees back into the elbows, hands into one another, and then bring the thumbs to kiss the sternum and the sternum kissing back at the thumb. So lots of little points of contact here. And then the hands come down, the booty comes up, fold forward, and we'll move in between these for a moment. So forward fold a Malasana squat. So the toes go out, hips go down, hands come up. And just move at your own pace here. Plant the hands and fold forward. Maybe the toes turn forward. So move like you. Then we're going to roll up. So don't lift up with the flat back, but bend the knees and roll up very, very slowly. Maybe a little bit of shake in the body. A little bit of wiggle. And then finding the top of the mat, reach the arms up. And then exhale, hands to heart center. Bend the knees. And then reach the arms up, press down through the feet. And then exhale, hands to heart center, soften the knees as you come down. And then inhale, press through the feet, lift. Exhale, soften, hands to heart center. And then this time, as the arms lift, we're going to step off the right side of the mat. Bend the left elbow and take a big side body stretch, side dancer here. Soften the knees and big opening in the side body. Find buoyancy, so keep moving here. And then exhale, curtsy pose. Bend the knees, bend at the hips, and wave the hands back like you're reaching past the fingertips as the heart reaches forward. So you're kind of being pulled in both directions here. And then the left hand plants left corner of the mat. And as slow as you can, left foot to the back of the mat, right arm reaches up. You're in a low lunge twist. Steady breath. And we're going to move with breath here. So lengthen the front leg and the hand waves down. On an inhale, the hands waving back and up as you bend into the foot. So this might kind of feel like rubbing your head and patting your belly at the same time, but see if you can input this pattern. So it's an exhale, lengthen down, kind of in a pyramid. Inhale, the arm goes up and you bend in the knee. Couple more rounds. Move as slow as you'd like. And then pyramid pose. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Once more. Inhale, halfway lift. And we're going to pull the left knee behind the right ankle. So bend in the front leg, pull the left knee behind the right ankle and take a seat, take a twist. Steady breath. Not a lot of like sharp lines here, just pulling in towards center. And steady breath. Slowly unwind, L shape with the legs. So left leg comes up. Reaching in opposite directions here, the crown of the head of the foot, and then left foot meets the ground next to the right, forward fold. Malasana squat, a couple times like this. So separate the feet. Malasana squat, sink down. And then forward fold. Open mouth, exhale. Twice more. We'll use this as our vinyasa, like our little ginger in between rounds. Bend the knees, slowly roll up to stand. Arms above the head. And then exhale, soften the knees as hands come to heart center. And then inhale, lengthen up. Reach, maybe lift the heels, and then exhale, sink as the hands come in. Again, inhale, reach up, maybe on the toes. Exhale, sink. And then this time, lift up, right foot goes off left side of the mat. And bend the top elbow and get a big side body stretch. So from the right heel all the way to the right elbow, a big arc. And then wave the hands back, bend at the knees, at the hips, curtsy pose. Pull back on the left hip crease as well. Wag your tail. Slowly, the right hand plants in the corner of the mat and the right toes drip down to the back corner of the mat. Maybe there's a block involved here. Left arm reaches up. Twist. Stay here for a moment. Then we'll input this weird little pattern of exhale. You're pouring forward, lengthening the front leg as the hand waves down, and then back and up on an inhale. Exhale, lengthen down. And inhale, reach up. Move like you. And pyramid pose. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, shift forward. Right knee comes down behind the left ankle and take a twist. So broaden the collarbone, lift the heart up just slightly, and gaze back over the left shoulder. Maybe bringing to mind, what are some of the samskaras that need to be rinsed out of your world? First, you got to become mindful of them. We got to get curious about them. Let me just begin to do something a little bit different. It doesn't happen immediately. It's an ebb and flow. Slowly come out and L shape. So big step up, L shape, right foot. And exhale to the mat. Fold forward. Separate the feet. Toes come out. Malasana squat. Exhale, forward fold twice more. Move as slow as you'd like. Roll up, bend the knees, press down to lift up. Inhale, arms lift. Hands to heart center, bend the knees even more this time, exaggerate it. And then inhale, lift onto the toes. Exhale, drip. Inhale, press down, lift up. It's okay if it's shaky, it is in the beginning. Exhale. Inhale, lift up onto the toes. And then side dancer off the right side of the mat. Make space. Just one big round of breath. And then exhale, bend at the knees, bend at the hips, wave the hands back, curtsy pose. All right, we're going to come into a warrior 3 variation here. The hands can come to heart center, or you can use blocks or the floor. And lift the left leg up. But I don't want you to find balance. Maybe find it for just a moment, but then I want you to wave the leg around and see how weird that you can get with it. Again, you can have one hand, maybe just a finger on the ground, but you should be losing your balance here. If you're not, then close your eyes. Maybe that'll do it. So just exploring some uncharted territory. Notice how that feels. And then slowly, we're going to meet left foot back of the mat, left hand plants, take a twist. And then we move with breath here. Exhale, pyramid, wave through. Arm keeps waving back. Inhale. Twice more. Right arm comes up. All right, moving into half moon. So right arm comes down and to the right a little bit in front of the right foot. Press down and open up left side. Left leg lifts up. Left hand lifts up. Wide toes, wide fingers. Steady breath. One more big inhale. And then exhale, left hand comes down, the heart shines down. And then the left knee comes to the nose, bend both knees, bring the nose towards the knees, and then inhale, L-shape, lengthen. Exhale, curl in. Shiva squat, we'll call this. Bend, inhale, lengthen. And then exhale, the left knee behind the right ankle. Take a seat, take a twist. 3 rounds of breath. This time, let's really pull in and imagine and identify all of these points of contact. So front foot, all 4 corners on the mat. Thigh pulling in towards the chest, chest pulling in towards the thigh. Left arm wrapping around, everything pulling towards center. Gazing over right shoulder. Shoulder to fingertips rooting down to the earth. And next exhale, slowly unwind. And this time come back downward facing dog. Wag the tail. And then we'll wave the spine a few times. So play between plank pose and downward dog. You can come into tabletop and child pose as well. So find your way in between all of those poses. Knees up, knees down. Heels and hips to one side or the other. And meet in downward facing dog. Gaze forward. Step or jump to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, fold it down. Bend in the knees, rise all the way up. Lift onto the toes, and then exhale, hands to heart center, soften knees, soften elbows. Inhale, lift. Exhale, soften. Inhale, lift. Exhale, soften. Inhale, lift. This time, right foot off left side of the mat. Take a big side body stretch. And exhale, wave the hands back. Pull back on the left hip crease. Now put the weight into the left foot, shift forward, and we're coming into warrior 3. So even this transition from curtsy to warrior 3 should be a little bit hectic. And then see how weird you can get. Get weird enough, don't play it safe, that you fall out at least a couple times and have to find your way back. That's how we recalibrate. Even on a physical level, the shakiness in the legs, that's the body trying to figure out where it is in space. You're training it to know. And that's what we want to do on an emotional level as well, physiological level. As we're doing and learning a different way of being, hopefully a more sustainable, healthy way of being. It's not going to feel comfortable, but we slowly readjust. We slowly recalibrate. We set new, healthier samskaras. All right, L shape. Left hand comes down to the left corner of the mat. The back foot comes to the back of the mat. Low lunge twist. Exhale, pyramid. The hand floats down. Lengthen. And then inhale, twist. Twice more. So maybe this feels like more of a pattern now, even just a few times later. And then the left arm comes up and winds down to the top left corner of outside the mat. And we're opening into half moon. So maybe to a block, maybe to the floor. Slowly open. inviting the shakiness rather than running from it. We don't always want to move towards challenge. We have to use discernment, but in this case, if it feels safe to go towards. And then the heart shines down, the hand plants, both hands are on the ground. Shiva squat, pull both knees in, pull the nose in towards it, and then press and kick out L shape, twice more like this. Left leg should be getting a little fiery. And then this time slowly take a seat, right knee behind, take a twist. And find the connection between both sit bones and the ground. Take some of those micro adjustments if they feel good in the body of pulling towards center and also expanding out from. Most importantly, just a steady breath and maybe a little bit of a smile. And slowly release. Find your way back, downward facing dog, however you like to unwind. And then again, free movement here. Let the breath move the body. So let that be the initiatory action. And see if you can move in a way that you haven't moved before. So the body wants to move in patterns. That's the way the brain works. So if you notice that you're in a pattern, then purposely switch it up. Not even do the same thing on both sides. It's a wild sentiment in yoga, huh? We're not even to begin with, so it's okay. You're not going to find that perfect balance. A couple more rounds of breath. I'm getting a bit weird. And then come to Sukhasana. Good space pose. Sukha means sweet, good, sweet seat. A sweet seat, I like that translation. Samskaras. Even if you've never heard of that word, I think that the sentiment is there. Unconscious patterns. We live out of reactivity until they are examined. So the work here is to understand them, to see them, to be able to view them for what they are. Are they helpful? Are they not? And then look for the little spaces and the ability to do something different, even just a little bit. Something that I'll offer you just to try this week is to do things different in like completely unrelated ways. Like, you probably drive the same way to work all the time. Drive a different way. Just take a different street. Every time I've heard this before, like for smoking, when you feel like you want to smoke, like put a lemon in your mouth. It seems unrelated, but what you're doing is that you're breaking up, you're muddling up the neural pathway that just goes from here to here. And it's went from here to here so many times that there's no thought to it. So to just do something weird to break it up. If you think about your ex, then do 5 jumping jacks or find some weird ways to do something different and leave them in the comments. I'm really interested. It'll be fun to have us explore and kind of laugh about the different things that we're doing. But breaking up and shaking up some samskaras is just, it's powerful. This is a really powerful, powerful thing. And I am wishing and hoping for you some compassion on the journey. Know that it's an ebb and flow things, that these patterns run deep and you might do something different a few times and then you go back. It's a natural recalibration, but we just stay at it. So I hope that you found this of benefit. We go deep into samskaras and find and extract and explore and get curious about all of our personal ones in my Emerge program, which is coming up in April. You can find all the details about that in the link in the comments and in the description. It's a powerful, powerful exploration. We're also doing a unit in my upcoming 300-hour teacher training with the Mindfullish School. It's 4 different units. You can take it as a whole or you just take a one-off unit. But the 4th unit is my fave, and it's trauma, addiction, recovery, and the nervous system. So we'll be exploring all of these things, and not only on a personal level, but then also how, we can share that with others. So if any of those are of interest, then reach out. And until then, good luck on your unhooking samskara journey. It's a lifelong path, but here for it. See you next time.